Hey y'all, it's your girl MariahSincere, and I'm back with another live. And I'm really excited for this one because I'm gonna do a Q&A about my experience here in Colombia. This is for all my people who are interested in traveling, specifically interested in traveling to Colombia, or you've thought about moving abroad, had questions about moving abroad. You might have questions in particular about living in Medellin, and like I'm here, I'm on the ground. I'm just a regular person, okay? I'm not anybody special or fancy. I moved here as a single mother. I didn't have a spectacular job. I came here as a single mother who was a teacher, and I just jumped out the window with it. Decided I wanted to do it in January and did it. So I will wait for y'all to get into the live. Just remember, as y'all are coming in, to hit that like and comment button. Sorry, like and subscribe button. Make sure that y'all are hitting that notification bell for whenever I post a video or let y'all know that I'm going live. Hey D Mally, what's up? I'm so glad you pulled up. You know, you always bring value to the conversation. How are you today? D Mally, have you ever thought of moving out of the country? Or do you like do any traveling? I'm interested in that. Yeah, guys, so far I'm gonna kind of tell y'all that I feel like this was the best move that I could have ever made. I'm from Texas, and part of the reason why I moved is because I just wanted a completely different way of living. Like, yes, of course, the cost of living is much better here in Colombia, but there were several factors. Part of that being that I just wanted to be in an area that was more conducive to health. For example, I wanted to be where everything was walkable. Um, I wanted to be where there were tight knit communities. I wanted to be where there were more opportunities to go out and interact with people because, as y'all know, in the United States, there is a loneliness epidemic. Um, I explained to a lot of Colombians here who were like, I want to move to the US because I want to make US dollars. Mind you, some of them don't understand when you go there, you're going to start off, you're not even going to make the minimum wage, especially if you're going over there like illegally and you don't have any, you don't speak English. And I try to explain to them, you're going to be making below minimum wage and you're going to be working a lot. You know, you're not going to be able to maintain the same lifestyle that you had here. And it's not that they can't go there and find success, it's just even a person who is making $20 an hour in the United States is somebody who is struggling. Um, and people are struggling to connect because they have to work so much. And that's why when I see a lot of people get on the internet and complain about American people and complain about American culture, they don't really talk about it with as much empathy as they should because people are working 60 hours a week, 60, 70, 80 hours a week, coming home and not even having enough energy to give to try to build a relationship or um, maintain friendships or work on their relationships with their kids. It's a lot. D Mally said, I'm good. Just had a birthday. Happy birthday, D Mally. I want to move to Japan. You know what? Before I came to Colombia, I thought about going to Japan and to teach because you can actually, like, if you have a bachelor's degree, D Mally, you can get like a you can get an additional certification. You can get it online for free to teach English as a second language, and a Japanese company will hire you. And some will even help you relocate, but they'll hire you. They'll even pay you more than what they pay teachers who are Japanese to come over there and teach English. So yeah, that's something to look into. The only reason why I decided to not do Japan, D Mally, is because Japan is a very homogenous society. Um, to the point where even if you have somebody who is biracial and they're like Japanese and black or Japanese and white. Japanese and white get treated a little bit better, but they never will consider you to be a Japanese person. So even if you learn the language and you build friends and things like that, you'll always be an outsider. And I wanted to go somewhere where I could completely culturally assimilate, and I didn't want to deal with all that people staring at me and asking me, can they touch my hair and all that. And I've seen many black people who teach in Japan do that, but that might not bother you. You might not even care about stuff like that. And in that case, I think, the Japanese have a very beautiful culture, good food. I hope to go there for travel one day, for sure. You're describing my life. I can't find a tribe right now, but I'm optimistic. What are you doing? And guess what? Sometimes it really does require a change of scenery, because I feel like on YouTube, people make it seem like it's we're always the problem. If we don't have friends, if we're not making connections, um, if we don't have time for people, or people don't have time for you, that's another thing, because you can make time for people, but do they have time to make for you, or are they too busy? And people say, oh, well, you're never too busy. That's a lie. There are plenty of people who I have personally wanted to connect with and spend time with, but because I had to work so much on top of taking care of a child, I just couldn't. I couldn't find the hours in the day. So, and that's what I'm talking about, D Malley. I just realized I wasn't gonna be able to make the deep connections that I really wanted to if I would have stayed where I was at. And don't get me wrong, I have friends. I have great girlfriends. I have great family members who I can call and I can talk to. But the problem was everybody had to work. So we really had to be intentional about making time for each other. And it wasn't like a weekly thing that I was making these connections. Versus here, like in Colombia, people might see their family members weekly, or, a lot of times they see their family and friends on a weekly and daily basis. You hear them on the phone talking to their friends and family. Like they have time for those things, which in the United States, we're just too exhausted. Um, that's part of the reason why it was so easy for me to leave, because people were like, well, you're not going to feel lonely going somewhere where you don't know the people. And it's like, no, because I feel lonely here, even though I have an awesome support system and I have friends and family that I can definitely call on in case of an emergency. I'm not seeing them often enough to not, feel lonely. So I might as well go try something new. I don't have nothing to lose. If I can only see my friends or my family one day out of the month or every couple of months, well, I'm better off just coming back home and seeing them during the holidays or when I can take long vacations. So that was a really easy decision. And now since I've been here, like, I still talk to my friends and family on the phone. And, my aunts call me like, hey, we're coming next month to see you. I'm making plans to come back home for Thanksgiving and in December. So, and on top of that, making new friends here. Okay. I've been to a couple of events now with expats. I've hung out with some new friends. So my social life is coming along. As long as you're willing to put yourself out there, there are always going to be people that you can connect with. It's a lot of times it just be a matter of having the time and having the energy. Okay, I see there's another person watching. Again, remember, hit that like button. Get in the chat, y'all. I'm not going to be here if y'all not asking questions, because this is a Q&A. And, I can't keep a Q&A going by myself. Do y'all feel like I need to starting these lives a little bit later? D Malley, what time do you think is a good time to start a live on a Friday night? If you're still there. Because I feel like sometimes y'all don't I'll start a live and people don't start coming in the chat until like an hour later. And then it'll get popping. Like last live I did, it really did not pop off until an hour later. But once it got popping, it got popping. Um, what I'll say too is I really like the paisa. So in Colombia, that's in Medellin in particular, the people are paisas, like the local and native people. That's not all Colombians. For example, if you go to um, Bogota, which is another, it's the capital city and it's colder there. It's way different. Like they don't have a metro system there, but it's more business oriented. And I heard the food is really good. Those people there are called Rolos. Okay. If you go to the coast, like Cartagena or Santa Marta, those people are called costeños. So paisas here in Medellin, they're very friendly. Y'all, like, if you stop and ask them for directions, 9 times out of 10, they gonna stop what they doing and they gonna walk you to where you're asking them to go. And if they don't walk you all the way, they'll walk you part of the way and make sure that you understand their instructions. They don't act like you're bothering them at all. They don't have this sense of like, I got to get it done or I got to get to where I'm going. And that's more important than me helping this person. Like, no, they will stop and help you. And I love that about them. This is a good time. It might be slow because of the holiday weekend. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Maybe a lot of people are out of town. Another thing, y'all, when I first came to Colombia, my first experience of Colombia was the food. In Cartagena. I'm sorry, I went to Cartagena, and my first experience of Colombian food was the food in Cartagena, and I did not like it. So I think the area that I was staying in Cartagena catered to tourists. And anytime you're in an area that caters to tourists, they always cut corners on the food. The food is always more bland, less seasoned. And I think part of the reason is because if you're coming there as a foreigner, you don't know how the food is supposed to taste. You don't know the ingredients that are supposed to go in there. So my first impression of Colombian food was like, this is mid, not nasty, just mid, not very well seasoned. So I wasn't excited about eating the food when I moved to Medellin, but then Medellin Buzz, that channel, Andrew on there, he gave me a different perspective. He was like, this is a developing country still. Most of the best Colombian dishes are made at home, and a lot of people are just now kind of like developing their style of cooking, and there are more options and spices available now. So give it an opportunity. So y'all, I've stayed off Google. I would just randomly walk into a little shop or, a mom and pop. If it looked like, the people in there know what they doing. And this food been busting. I ain't even gonna lie. The food is good. The food is good. You just gotta know where to go. Hey, skinny boy. I'm moderating on someone else's channel, but I'll be back when the stream is over. Okay, cool. Sir, do y'all see this comment? How you gonna do that? Lose that soul. How you gonna do that? How you gonna do what this comment say? Make that make sense. Sorry, y'all. That makes sense. I never seen a Colombian restaurant. I think I've seen one in Dallas, but I never went there. And let me tell y'all, these Afro Colombians, they be having the best restaurants. Like and when I say Afro Colombians, I'm not talking about people that look like me. I'm talking about though people you can't find restaurants with people that look like me who make good food here. But like I'm talking about the unambiguous Afro Colombians that look like, your cousin and them back at home, kinky hair, brown, caramel, dark skin. Baby, they be in there throwing it. Anytime I see an Afro Colombian spot, I walk in there and sit down and order my food. And they never disappoint. Like, you will never be like, oh, the food was bland or not seasoned. No, they know what they doing. They be putting that sazon on that food, okay? Yeah, he on his Janae Aiko today, whoever this is. You know, these trolls be trolling. Um, Another thing that I've noticed is that Colombia is different depending on what region that you're in, particularly Medellin. So it's really huge. So they have what's called, so Medellin is the main city, and then they have several municipalities. I wouldn't call them suburbs because it's not giving suburbs, which is crazy because so I stay in Envigado and it's giving city. Like it's you can walk out the building. There's a bodega. There's a meat market. There's a fruteria. There's everything that you need. It's perfectly walkable, tall, high-rise buildings. But on top of that, you get that neighborhood feel because everything is close and a lot of people just know each other. It's not giving suburbs, and I'm saying that as a person who lives in Texas. Um, where in the suburbs there are nothing but houses. It's not walkable. A lot of people don't even know their neighbors and everything is too spread out. So if you go to Medellin, they will say that where I stay is a small town. And I'm like, where? This is giving big city. Um, but they have several different areas. So for example, the area that I live in, it's really clean. You get a lot of the local culture there. There's not a lot of tourists here, but big city vibes, but it's very beautiful. The nature here is much more pretty than other parts that I've been to. But on top of that, it's very family friendly. Like a lot of families live here. You'll see a lot of kids playing, huge sports complexes, people outside playing soccer games, people playing basketball. You go to the park and they have weights at the parks. Like they have places where you can just stop and lift weights, and they have it set up to where you can't like steal the weights off of the machines. But it's there available free of charge for public use. So really, if you wanted to not have a gym membership here, you don't have to. If you don't want to own a car here, you don't have to because everything is in walking distance. And let's say you need to go to the next municipality, the metro system here is really good and the bus system is really good. And no, it's not just poor people. Like everybody uses the metro system and the bus system, and there are so many options with Uber. You can take Uber Comfort, regular Uber. You can even order a taxi on Uber here. You can order a motorcycle, which is the cheapest option. I'm telling you, you can say if you're going like maybe 8 or 10 minutes away, you can get a motorcycle for like $1. So it's really affordable and really convenient and really efficient. And it gives you an opportunity to get out and about instead of being stuck inside. A lot of the times, especially if it's a night where there's a big soccer game, you can just walk down the street. If you're feeling lonely, you can walk down the street, walk to a bar, order a beer, and people will just start talking to you or you start talking to them about the game. I think a lot of the times we think loneliness can only be filled with romantic partnerships or being laid out with somebody, but a lot of times you'll feel less lonely if you just walk out the house and talk to other people and laugh with them and connect and share a common interest. So I feel like in that regard, Medellin is much better for your quality of life. And it's not just Medellin that's like that. There are a lot of places around the world. I heard Thailand is good for that as well. I've heard many places in Africa are good for that. I've heard Costa Rica is good for that. I've heard Argentina. There are so many countries. You just have to kind of decide what works for you. The simple life, the U.S. has turned into a pyramid scheme. You know what I learned? The US is where everybody goes to eat. You feel me? Like everybody goes to the US to get money. It's a place for wealth extraction, right? And if you're not already rich and or you're not willing to work yourself to death and just forget everybody else around you or building your relationships or if you're not willing to what is that called? Neglect your kids if you, or not even have any at all, like, and just focus on work, because that's what it's gonna take at this point. Like, if you are starting at the bottom in the United States now, or even lower middle class, if you want to get to a place where you're comfortable and you don't have to worry about money, you're going to have to be willing for years to sacrifice a lot of relationships. You're going to have to be willing for years to sacrifice your physical health and your mental health and hope that you come out okay on the other side of it, or that you haven't spent too much time doing that to where you've done irreparable damage. My cousin Ryan made an Instagram post about this, and he was like, you know, y'all need to be taking care of y'all bodies a lot. I see so many of y'all, you know, y'all eyes be on retirement. It be like focused on, okay, well, I'm gonna make all this money and hustle and hustle and hustle and grind. And then by the time y'all get to the age where you can sit down and retire, you know, where you're like, you know, 60 or, you know, 55 or 65, now you want to try to live life, but your health is in shambles. You can't even enjoy what you work so hard for. And I decided that wasn't going to be me. That wasn't going to be me. I'm not living like that. Senegal, I heard Senegal is really nice, and I heard Kenya is really nice. And a lot of people are reporting, a lot of expats are reporting that in Africa, they only pay rent once a year, and that there are plenty of opportunities for investment, but that you kind of have to be careful. And that's another thing I want to say too. You got to be realistic when you're somebody coming from the United States to another country. You can't be so trusting with your money and your investment and even your time. Like, I'm not trusting at all. I'm very grateful for the people who have been kind to me here, but I have to pay attention to my intuition. And when my intuition tells me don't talk to people or associate with people, I don't even need a reason. I just have to have a bad feeling, and I don't, because having access to the American dollar puts a target on your back. A lot of people, because of the news not reporting everything that goes on in our country, not they even, you know, lie on the news about the fact that we've been in a recession and we're headed toward a depression. They're not even saying this is going on. They're not even saying this to the American people. So a lot of the news that people get about the United States is that everybody in the United States is doing financially well. They don't understand the inflation. They don't understand the wage suppression that has gone on as a result of people, you know, us mass letting a lot of immigration in, which I'm not saying anything bad about immigrants. I understand if you feel like you're going to have a better opportunity in the United States, you got to do what you got to do. But it's the people at the top, right, that profit off of that wage suppression and not wanting to pay the American people what they're owed. So a lot of people don't know there's a lot of homelessness in the United States. A lot of people don't know there's a lot of drug abuse. A lot of people don't know that somebody that's making $20 or $30 an hour in the United States is going to have a very hard time keeping a roof over their head. So people automatically assume that because you're from the United States and their currency in their country is not as valuable as the US dollar, that we are rich, right? I've learned, like, when I tell people how much we pay for rent over here, like when I tell Colombian people how much we pay for rent, their jaws drop, right? And you got to understand, a lot of people don't even think about the fact that we have to pay bills too, and that our bills are quadruple the cost of what their bills are. So they automatically assume that we just got it to spend. So a lot of people see American expats as a lick. They're not even thinking about your struggle because they can't see outside themselves and they're misinformed. So you do have to be careful. And what I'm seeing a lot of black expats saying is that they went to Africa thinking they were going to be treated with dignity and respect because they were a black person, but they're going over there not understanding. A lot of African people do not even see you at, first of all, they have tribalism over there. They might not see another person in the same country from a different tribe as one of them, let alone somebody who for generations, their families has been on another continent, and a lot of them don't mind taking advantage of African American people. The best way to expat is to go as a group. Easier said than done, but security is top priority when trying to build a new in someone else's backyard. I think that depends on the person. I mean, I feel like if you can find somebody, I don't know about a group, because then everybody in the group has to be in lockstep, right? So I feel like if you're talking about in terms of, so for example, if I'm gonna go out, um, to El Poblado or something like that, then of course I would want to call, because there are expat communities here. Like, I love the fact that I live here by myself and I can do my own thing, but there are also communities of expats that when I do want to connect, or if I decide I want to enter into some type of business here, they've already done the legwork. And I can ask them, I can go out with them for safety. But as far as like living as a group, is that what you're saying? Or deciding together to move out as a group? You're going to have a hard time getting even just one person to decide to move to another country with you. I promise you are. Because for most people, it's just a wild concept to, regardless of the reasons, regardless of the push and pull factors, it is a wild concept to leave behind everything that you know and go to a new country. Um, but when you do get here, there are communities of people who already did it before you. And a lot of times there's already the infrastructure in place and the groups in place where you can connect with those people and you're not alone. So here, there's this place called La Casa in Laureles, and this girl named Mayan started it. It's been open for a year, and a couple of events that I've been to is there she hosted a soccer game watch party, and the space is really comfortable. It has a living room with a nice couch and cushions, but then upstairs there are co-working spaces. There are private offices that you can go to if you want to record videos or take video calls. And then there's a restaurant that's like built into it where you can get food. So that place is open for both expats and paisas who want to connect with expats, so that, and we, share similar experiences so you don't feel alone, right? And these are most of the time business minded people. You'll meet people who've already bought property here in Medellin. So you'll have people who can give you information. Um, you don't necessarily have to move as a group with somebody, because a lot of times it's already there. A small community per se, yeah, and you can find that. I'm pretty sure you can, even if you went to Japan, I'm pretty sure there are expat groups on Facebook, and that's what you have to do. That's how I found the group. So basically, there's a group on Facebook called Medellin Expats. Now, you gotta kind of filter out the BS, because on that group and probably other groups for other countries that you'll see, they talk about a lot of BS sometimes, but some of it is useful. So a lot of times, if you just, put a Facebook post, hey, does anybody run a co-working space? Hey, is anybody hosting an event for expats? So basically, I made a post in the expat group. Hey, does anybody know? Because my daughter's going to be coming in like less than 10 days. So I was like, does anybody know of a bilingual nanny that can help me out with her 3 days out of the week, so that I can have an opportunity to go run errands and go to the gym? And a person responded and they were like, hey, we actually have a parents WhatsApp group. I'm gonna send you the link. You fill out the information. We'll check you out, make sure that you're legit. And then if you are, we'll add you to the group. So of course they added me to the group, and then boom, that, gave me a opportunity to ask, hey, who would be willing to do play dates with kids? And then a girl private messaged me, and then we were like, okay, well, let's hang out, let's start linking up and building a relationship before my daughter comes. And then that segued into her telling me about La Casa and the language exchange and the co-working spaces and all that. And then I ended up going to the little watch party for the soccer game. And then the next night, I went to this event called Beyond the Small Talk, where I was able to actually have conversations with other expats. Like, we had cards with questions on them, deep questions, and we were able to talk. And then we would rotate, and then I meet another group of people, right? So don't worry about being alone when you go to a new country. The best mindset to have is, how can I connect? And you can join expat groups before you even leave your home country. Like, I was in the Medellin expat group before I even left the United States. So I already knew this existed, right? And all it required was me actually putting myself out there. Guys, y'all remember to hit the like button as y'all come in, and go ahead and, say something in the chat. Let me know that you're here. Okay, guys, I'm going to be on here for another probably 15 minutes. And then I'm going to get off because it's kind of slow tonight. It's supposed to be a Q&A. D. Malley, thank you so much for interacting. Skinny Boy, I hope you're still there. And I understand I'm going to have lives like this where sometimes it's just going to be slower than the other. That's just life, y'all. Even when you're doing something like trying to move out the country, readjusting, just know that things are going to have its highs and it's going to have its lows. It's going to have its time when it's really popping, and it's going to have their times where it's not all that popping. So you just got to be able to ride out them ups and downs, honestly and truly. I see some people coming in. Y'all ain't saying nothing. It's the Q&A, y'all. I cannot conduct a Q&A by myself. This is not one of those nights where I already have like videos and a whole bunch of topics that I want to talk about prepared. This was me kind of just offering myself as a resource to anybody who is interested in moving out the country today, or anybody who you might have seen me do it and now you're interested and you have questions. Let me see if I can find. Let me see if I can find a video online I can talk about, because I don't want to just give up on the live chat just yet, y'all. Oh, okay. I like this video. I'm gonna pull up a video by this guy called AK Joel. I'm gonna share my screen. Okay. I'm gonna share my screen and I'm going to analyze this video. This is called Why I'll Never Understand Colombians. And I'm going to give my opinion. Share screen.
Wix Studio, la plataforma para agencias y grandes empresas, y hazte el diseño web una forma de arte. Crea la cuadrícula que deseas, moldeando cada...
G'day guys, welcome back. Today I want to make a video about culture. Culture is one of my favorite things when it comes to traveling because you go to a different country and sometimes the things that people are doing there are super weird to you at first, but then you get used to it after a while. That's not what this video is about. This video is actually about the things that I still cannot wrap my head around after 3 years of living in Colombia. Some of these things I just ask my girlfriend here, Carolina, every day, why do you guys do this? She's never really given me any straight answers. That's why I've gotten her on the show today and demanded some answers. So that's what you're going to give us today, Caro. No getting out of it.
Okay.
So
I have no idea what he's going to ask me.
yeah, you have no idea about the list, but I'm going to be asking her about these weird things that Colombians do and why I find it weird, and then we're going to get an explanation.
Let me just say, I love their relationship dynamic. So they made videos before, and she's definitely not. She's definitely fit. She's definitely pretty. She's definitely friendly. But this is a situation where they go 50-50 on the bills. She's an educated girl. She went to the United States. She's been speaking English. So this is definitely what a lot of people would call a modern relationship going on here in Colombia. Joel is from Australia. She is Colombian. So this is not, he didn't come here and get the typical relationship that a lot of expats advertise online.
Okay.
Let's start with the first one, and that is, if you can't see, I'm wearing shorts now, right? And this is a big no-no in Colombia.
Yes.
Let me give you a little story. So I play tennis. And one day I went to my tennis class and it was about 40 degrees, super hot. I rock up with my shorts and my shirt, and my tennis coach, he's actually wearing long pants. I said, "What is this, man? Why are you wearing pants?" And he actually said, "Because it's formal. That's the formal way, because I'm giving a lesson, I'm working,
Okay.
I need to wear pants." And this also happened to me once in an Uber. It was sweltering hot again, and the driver, he was wearing jeans. And I said, "Aren't you uncomfortable?" He's like, "Yeah, it's not the best, but I'm working, so this is formal, I need to wear pants."
Okay, so I have seen people wearing shorts here in Colombia. I can't recall seeing somebody wearing shorts while they were working, so that actually might be true. I do see women walking around in like shorts. I have seen Colombian people, I'm not talking about tourists, men wearing shorts. I'll see them wearing shorts if they're playing sports, playing basketball, playing soccer. But when I really think about it, even like the people who were doing Rappi or the people who were doing Uber on a motorcycle, they always have jeans on. So maybe that is the culture. When you're working, wear jeans, don't wear shorts. Do y'all think that's weird? What do y'all think about that? I think that it's really good. They really do take pride in their appearance here. They might not necessarily have $300 or $400 or $500 shoes, but they try to keep themselves. Their hygiene is really good. Hair always neat. Clothes very well put together. They do take pride in their appearance.
Okay.
Please explain.
Well, do you see a beach near here? Near Medellin? Is there a beach? Do you see sand?
No.
Okay. This is a city in the middle of the jungle. You don't wear shorts. It's not formal. It's not like, it's just too casual. Like we wear shorts at the beach.
I would argue that point because there's probably other cities in the world that are not close to a beach, but you can still wear shorts. I'm not talking board shorts or beach shorts. I'm talking nice jean shorts. Why can't we do that either?
I don't know. It's just not considered something like formal. It's too casual for this city, and also like for the weather. I know it's hot sometimes, but it's not like a beachy kind of weather. For us, it's like there's beach wear and there's like what you wear in the city.
Okay.
And there's no beach around, so why would you wear shorts?
Yeah, you won't see like in Dallas, you might walk around, like if you walk around SMU or something like that, where there are a lot of college kids, you'll see, the khaki shorts and the thong sandals. Yeah, you won't see them thong sandals here. You won't see the men always wear, closed-toed shoes. And again, have seen people wear shorts, but never in the context of them working at all. I'm just kind of amazed at the fact that she's equating that with the beach. Then you got to understand too, again, culture is different. Like if you go to Cartagena, you are way more likely to see people wearing like shorts and sandals and things like that because it's on the coast. There are beaches. It's a whole different culture.
Is that a way to know if someone is a foreigner? It's like shorts and flip-flops, foreigner.
Or shorts and long socks, he told me as
And
well.
long socks.
Colombians wear ankle socks, I guess.
Ankle socks, the long
Not
socks.
ankle socks, ankle socks.
Ankle.
Pants is one thing that I'll never get over because for me, I'm from Australia,
Yeah.
Melbourne. We have a very different culture.
I mean, do you have the beach near?
Not really, like an hour and a half away. Is that near?
Yeah.
Not so much.
I mean, this is the middle of Colombia. You're surrounded by mountains.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay, well, I guess we've kind of got
point
some
for
answers.
Colombia.
It's not
We're
It's-
winning.
it's not a competition. Yeah, I don't see no scoreboard. What are you talking about? The next one that I have on this list of things I'll never get used to is how Colombians will greet you on the phone. For example, recently I wanted to get a massage. So I messaged a massage company and I just said, hey, what are the prices of your massages? What options do you have?
Side note, I like how Australians talk. They're so fancy. I want to get a massage. A massage. Like, what, sir? Australian people.
Have. Any normal person would expect a response of, here's our price list.
Yeah.
I get like a 2-minute voice message back via WhatsApp. I've only seen this a little bit in Mexico, but very, very commonplace in Colombia.
Yeah.
Where in the first message to strangers, they'll just send like 10 voice notes in a row. I got to listen to a fucking podcast to understand the answer to a very simple question.
I have not experienced that yet. Like, so far I've set a hair appointment here, a nail appointment, and then I had somebody pick up my laundry. Those are the services that I've had. And so far they've like sent their prices. Everything has been, a long message or a list of what they do and do not do. Even when I emailed the company that does the nanny service, I'm not sure if who handles their bookings is Colombian. That might have something to do with it. But I haven't experienced that just yet.
Which could sometimes just be yes or no.
Yeah.
But instead of that, they're sending me, all these messages. What's that about?
When this became like a thing, I remember I was living
Side note, Puerto Ricans are good for a voice note. They are.
in the States.
Okay.
And I came here to do an internship during the summer. And I remember that my boss used to just send me voice messages, and I found that super weird. Like hard to get used to it. I was like, why doesn't she text? Like, I don't understand why she's always like sending me all these voice messages. But then I got used to it. I came.
Real quick, in the chat, Dartmouthian Council asked, do I have a favorite flavor of chips? I'm going to tell you my favorite American flavor of chips. Salt and vinegar. I love salt and vinegar chips. And the next flavor after that is going to be lemon lime. I cannot find salt and vinegar chips here. They have I wish I had a bag of chips right now. They have I don't want to call it a knockoff brand because it's not. They have a brand here called Margarita, which has the exact same logo, fonts, and packaging as Lay's. But I looked on the back of the chips and it doesn't say anything about that company being associated with Lay's. But basically, they have flavors like pollo, barbecue, the lime, which I like, and then they have a flavor that looks like the salt and vinegar. It's not though, it's mayonnaise flavored. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to try mayonnaise flavored chips. But every time I look at it, it just sparks some excitement in me because I'm like, oh, the salt and vinegar chips. And I'm like reading it and I'm like, them damn mayonnaise chips. Yeah, Miss Vicky's has very good salt and vinegar chips.
Came back here and I got used to like, okay, people here, that's a normal thing. And I remember asking like, why do you send me voice messages? Why don't you just like text? And they're like, it's easier.
It's easier for who? Not easy for me.
Okay, yeah, you're a foreigner, but like for people that
I do that. You know what? Anybody that talks on the phone with me for a long time knows that, like, if I want to have here's the problem I have, y'all. I'm the type of person, we got to talk on the phone, okay? The problem with people, especially, I ain't even gonna lie, people in the United States got this bad. Everybody wants to text. Don't nobody got time, especially if you're talking to people or trying to build relationships with people. Don't nobody got time to just be sitting and clicking. Like, you can't even have good quality conversations via text. So after a while, I have to send voice notes because people don't want to get on the phone. Not everybody, but a lot of people. So it's just easier to send a voice note. But I really do wish we would go back to that time where people actually got on the phone and talk, because don't nobody got time to be doing all that back and forth all day. I'd rather spend 30 minutes talking to somebody on the phone than to be going back and forth for hours with text. It's annoying. The worst chip flavor I had was lobster. Who made them lobster chips? If you go to the Asian market, if you have an Asian market where you're at, a big one like a Hong Kong or something like that, Lay's be having all kind of flavors for the Asian market. Like, they be having tom yum, they be having pho flavor, they be having, I've seen where they have lobster flavor, they be having shrimp flavor, chicken flavor, any type of flavor you can think of, they make for the Asian market. Yes, Miss Vicky, salt and vinegar, Cool Ranch, and Funyuns. Yeah. All of them flavors I can rock with. Yeah, and then people wonder why, like, okay, they're texting somebody and then they fall off or they take something the wrong way. And it's because you can't even put context to this, or you don't know what spirit in which they said it to. And after a while, I don't care how popping you are or exciting you are in person, text will make you seem like a boring person if you can't keep a really good conversation going through text, or if you're not responsive. Like, it's better to just talk on the phone. But people be like, I don't like talking on the phone. Then how do you expect to make connections with people? I just don't get folks. And that's another reason why it was so hard. It's so hard to make connections in the United States, because people be talking about they lonely and they want to connect with people, but then when they have to actually like do the work to connect with people, they don't want to do it. So it's like, okay, well then it seemed like you want to be alone. Cool headphones, where are they from, y'all? These are I don't know where these are from, to be honest. I found these in my daughter's room and I had already bought her, and I think somebody gave these to her in like a gift basket or something like that at a party. And I had bought her some brand new phones with like earphones with cat ears, and I bought this mic and I didn't know that I needed earphones to use this mic. So just at the last minute before I went on live, I was like, oh my God, let me go see if my daughter has some earphones, and I found these. But thank you. I promise you, they're probably like very inexpensive and less than $20. Hey, skinny boy, glad to see you back. I'd love a pair of headphones. Nice to them. Go to Best Buy or Target. I'm sure you'll find something. They have plenty of stuff, especially Target. Target be having all kind of stuff. Okay, let me get this video back on. I'll answer y'all's questions as they're coming in. I just didn't want to be here.
speak Spanish perfectly. Colombian, 100% Colombian.
Okay.
It's easier for us, like,
I guess
to
so.
just like send the voice that.
Skinny Boy says, Mariah, Did you leave us in the States? Skinny boy, I thought you been known I've been gone. I ain't been in the United States since, when did I leave? June 6th. I left June 6th. I've been back for like some flight layovers in Miami. That's about it. Cause June 6th I left and I went to was technically the United States. Okay, so I went to St. Thomas, U.S. Virgin Islands. So that's technically the United States, but it's not the mainland. And I stayed there until the 13th. And then I went to Puerto Rico and I stayed there until the 18th. And then I came straight here. So I've been here in Colombia since June 18th. Yep. So, and I'll be back in the U.S. Technically, like back in the U.S. I got to go pick my daughter up in Austin. But I'm bringing her right back here. I'm just going for a day.
Instead of like typing.
It's very complicated for foreigners, especially if you're not like very fluent, like I would say 9 or 10 out of 10 Spanish,
True.
because they're going to be sending you it very fast with background noise with the TV or the
True.
road and a lots of slang. Even if you're a foreigner, they don't care.
Yeah.
So you could be listening to this thing 40 times and you still have no idea what they said.
Yeah. Like it happens to me on my regular basis.
Yes, like, okay, I have a friend that I met from Puerto Rico, and he be sending me these, not like when we're in person, because he can kind of like slow down and then I can watch his lips, because Spanish is my second language. Like, I have no problem talking to him. I be playing them damn voice notes he's sending me like over and over 10 times till I finally get what the hell he was trying to say. He be talking fast. He be having all type of noise going. I'm like, sir, I don't understand this shit. Yeah, I'm glad I dodged that hurricane too. I don't think it hit Puerto Rico or St. Thomas, but I'm pretty sure they're probably getting some storms over there. Last time I talked to one of my friends in St. Thomas, he was telling me that it was okay, but I haven't checked in a couple days, so I'm gonna see.
Because I work for a U.S. company, but I also work with people here in Colombia.
Yeah.
So with them, it's like text message. With the people in Colombia, it's like voice.
Yeah, I don't think that's a thing in the US
It's
yet.
not.
Skinny boy, you need to open up that Spanish dictionary. You know what I can tell y'all to use this better than a Spanish dictionary. Matter of fact, I'm finna go get it. Give me 1 second. I promise y'all I'm not leaving y'all. Give me a second. I gotta go get it. Okay. I am back. So guys, if you want to move to a Spanish speaking country, I suggest that you start learning before you go. That's the main thing. Get you some Hispanic friends that you can talk to, preferably ones that already speak English, because what I've learned is the ones that speak Spanish, they want to learn English. So they want to talk to you in English. So get you some that already speak English, so then they don't mind helping you with your Spanish. Duolingo is a great source because it helps correct you with the grammatical errors, and they also have AI with it now that you can pay for. However, what Duolingo doesn't do is help you to learn how to decode and what am I trying to say? It doesn't help you learn how to quickly decode information into Spanish. So this book right here, I hope y'all can see it. It's called Madrigal's Magic Key to Spanish. This is the best book you can buy to learn Spanish. Much better than a Spanish dictionary, okay? Write it down. You can get it on Amazon. Take a picture. I'm holding it up here. What makes this book so different is that it teaches you basic rules that will help you quickly decode words as you're talking, right? So, one rule, for example, if you say you have a word in English that ends in ity, like city, university, opportunity, you don't have to learn every single word in the dictionary because there are rules that will help you be able to quickly, as you are talking, translate these words into Spanish. You don't have to put it in Google Translate. So, for example, it's just a rule of thumb, and it works most of the time, that if you think of a word in English and you're trying to say it in Spanish and it ends in ity, that the word is going to be the same, but it's going to end in dad. So, for example, university in English, universidad. Okay? Security in English, seguridad. All you have to do is know the difference in the pronunciation of the spelling in Spanish, which that is easy. As long as you learn the Spanish alphabets and you know how to say all the letters, that's easy to put it together. I took Spanish in 8th grade. I'm ashamed of myself. Boy, you ain't see nothing. Hush. Duolingo sent me a notification saying I'm trying to get. Yeah, they will get on you and let you know you're not being consistent. But with this, you don't really. Oh, my camera was unplugged. No, it wasn't. There we go. God, now I gotta go in my settings. They got the wrong camera. Here we go. With this, it teaches you rules that will quickly help you translate words as you are talking. Y'all, this is a godsend. And then it has assignments in there that you can practice. Like, you need to get this. This is better than any Spanish class. If you want to take a Spanish class and get this book, I recommend that. I feel like in order to become really good at Spanish, you need to take a holistic approach. Get you some people you can talk to in Spanish. Do the Duolingo. Get you a book like this. Maybe take a class. Or there are platforms online where people will talk to you in Spanish over the internet. My point is, if you want to learn, you can learn. And the best thing to do is just go to a country and learn. So I learned how to speak Spanish talking to Mexican people. Oh my God, y'all keep messing this thing up. Talking to Mexican people. So in Colombia, the Colombians speak Spanish a lot differently than Mexican people. Sometimes they don't finish their word or start their word. So, for example, estoy. That means I am, right? You could say estoy, I'm doing something, right? Estoy. Colombian people will say toy. They completely cut off the beginning. Sorry, where is the, but if you're not a native speaker, you don't you got to put it together that that's the same word, right? Or if they're going to say está, you are, they'll say ta. They won't even put the E and the S at the beginning, and they'll just be talking fast. So you got to learn how to decode. You got to learn how to understand what they're saying, even though you learn Spanish in a more proper way, or you might have learned Spanish by speaking to somebody in a different culture where they pronounce things differently. I read the signs on I read everything. So when I go out now, I don't ever put my earphones in, and I don't be on my cell phone. Part of the reason why I don't be on my cell phone is because there are a lot of people that, ride around on motorcycles. I don't want anybody to come just drive by and snatch my phone. So I put my phone away, and I have my head on a swivel, and I'm reading and watching everything. That helps you pick up language much more quickly. I have 4 language apps. Let me get serious. All my neighbors are Mexican. Yeah, start trying to talk. Just tell them, hey, I want to learn how to speak Spanish. Can you correct me? Can we start talking? With the language apps, how you got to take it is one step at a time. You don't have to spend an hour a day practicing your Spanish. Even if you just spend 5 minutes a day, every single day practicing Spanish, When you look back 6 months from now, you're going to be a lot further than where you started. And then if you can bump it up to 10, some days you can do an hour. Some days you'll be able to do one little 5 minutes lessons. Some days you'll be able to do 10 or 15 minutes. And then on top of that, listen to Spanish music and then find like a Spanish program that you like. So on Netflix, I really like Bolivar. It is a show, like a dramatization of Simon Bolivar's life. He was the guy who helped like liberate Venezuela, Colombia, and Ecuador, which all used to be one country, Gran Colombia. And it's actually a really good show. And the best way to watch those shows is to put the show on and turn the Spanish subtitles on. Don't turn the English subtitles on. You will get the context and start putting context to words based on what's going on in the show and based on what you've been practicing while you've been doing your little, worksheets or Duolingo or working out of this here book. So everybody that wants to learn to speak Spanish or move to a Spanish speaking country, please get this book. It is a godsend. As always, can you plug a book you are currently reading? I'm still reading this book right here. So hold on, give me a minute. Let me go get the book now, skinny boy. Hold on. So, guys, I'm so busy that how I have to read books is I have to kind of read them at the most a chapter at a time. And some days, like I have like a habit tracker in this is my planner. It's a Harry Potter planner. If you know, you know. Okay. I have a habit tracker and I have 3 things that I need to get done every single day in order for me to feel like I'm making progress, right? One of them is exercise, one of them is read, and one of them is meditate. If I do them 3 things every day, then I know in general my life will stay on track. So I don't have to put maximum effort into every single one of them things every day. So I'm reading this book called The Elevation Approach. So when I read out of this, I mark my tracker down. To be honest, sometimes I only read 5 pages. Sometimes I only read 10 pages. Sometimes I get through a whole chapter. The point is to just consistently do it until the book is read. And that's what you have to do when you're trying to develop good habits. This is a really good book because this teaches you how to balance. It's not like a work-life balance, how to bring in harmony between your personal life and your working life. Now, to be fair, this is probably better, this elevation approach, because the woman who wrote this is an entrepreneur. This is probably a better approach for somebody that doesn't have to clock in or out of a job, but you still can apply it if you have to clock in and out of a job. It just requires a lot more effort and intention. But I really love this book. And even if you do have to clock in and out of a job right now, you can still read this book because you might want to get to a point where you're working for yourself. So again, it's The Elevation Approach by Tina Wells. She actually, I believe, she lives in another country now. And that's what I'm saying, guys. If you're having trouble in the United States now, I suggest you try to find somewhere you can go where it is more affordable. And don't let nobody make you feel bad about it. Now, a lot of y'all might feel like, well, I don't have the money to move. Yes, you do. Okay? Let me explain how. And I was talking to one of my friends about this. A lot of y'all, if you have a car, for example, if you go somewhere where you can live, there are places where you can take $6,000 and live off of that for, 3 months. You know what I'm trying to say? what do you have that you can sell? A lot of times it'll just require you being willing to part ways with things. Do you have a car that you can sell? Do you have furniture that you can sell? Do you have anything valuable that you can put on Facebook Marketplace that you can sell? Then once you move out of your apartment, you're not going to be paying all them damn bills that you had there. So you always have some collateral that you can use that will get you the money that you need to relocate. You just got to be willing to part ways with the stuff. I just added the book to my Amazon account. Thank you. Good. Another book I want to recommend too is this right here. Now, if you're somebody who wants to begin practicing meditation, but you want to do it with intent and purpose, this is called A Course in Miracles. And there's no author on this. This is kind of like an organization that made this book. You can get this on Amazon too. And it has daily mantras that you will spend time practicing. And basically, the purpose of this book is to help you deconstruct how you currently view the world initially and build up how you need to see the world in order to move forward. Like, guys, this book alone has done so much for me in my life. Like, I remember when I was young, I used to say, if God is real and miracles are real, why don't we see these miracles around us? And I used to think of a miracle in terms of the stories in the Bible, like Jonah surviving in the whale, or Jesus walking on water and stuff like that. And I didn't understand that miracles were happening all around me every day. I just couldn't see them because I had blockages in my mind. And now I'm to the point where I see miracles all around me every day because I see things differently, right? And because I see things differently, I've been able to make miracles happen in my own life. And I know all of this sounds crazy, but you have to deconstruct and reconstruct your concept of what a miracle is in order for you to be able to see it. Can I be a moderator? You can be a moderator, skinny boy. Do you think I need a moderator? I have to figure out how to do that. But yeah, you absolutely can. I just ain't never had a moderator. So yeah, I'll figure out how to do that after this live. Guys, I see some people in the chat. I see there are people watching. Make sure that y'all hitting that like button and that y'all hop on in the chat. Again, hit the notification bell, subscribe. Most of the people that watch me aren't subscribed to me yet. So, you gonna watch me, you might as well subscribe. We have fun over here. It's good information over here. You're not gonna do nothing but grow and self-develop on this channel right here. You ain't got no choice but to. Meditation is the key to bring you back to 0 point. Meditation is a lost art because most of us are distracted by social media. Yeah. And now more than ever, you have to be very intentional. Like, I set rules for phone use. For example, if I'm at the dinner table with somebody, there's no phone use. Again, when I'm out and about walking these streets here in Medellin, I'm not on my cell phone. Only time I get on my cell phone is if I'm calling an Uber and I'm waiting on the Uber. Once I get in that Uber, I put that cell phone up. And if I'm feeling uncomfortable, well, I'm just gonna ask to get out. But you can track and see, but I really don't do that, to be honest. Put that phone away. Once you put the phone away, you can start seeing more reality going on around you, more life, more miracles. You begin to learn more. You get to watch. People are far more interesting than anything going on social media. And don't get me wrong, I get on social media because social media is a way for me to connect with my audiences. I post on Instagram. I do TikTok. I respond to people's comments, but I'm not doing that every day. And there's always a point where I'm like, okay, I responded to enough. I'll check back in tomorrow around this time, and then I'll respond some more. But I'm not obligated to stay on social media all day long, and I'm not obligated to respond to people right away. That's another thing y'all gotta learn, guys. Thank you, skinny boy. Uh, Drop your socials, Cash App, etc. Guys, my Cash App is Mariah Sincere. I'm Mariah Sincere on everything. It's really easy. So I'm Mariah Sincere on, I believe I'm Mariah Sincere on Snapchat. I'm Mariah Sincere on Instagram for sure, and Mariah Sincere on Facebook. Cash App, Mariah Sincere. YouTube channel, Mariah Sincere. You know, if y'all have any doubt or question about that, always defer to Mariah Sincere. Thank you. And right now, guys, I'm almost to the point. I think I need like 1,400 more watch hours before y'all can start doing super chats and stickers in the comment section if y'all want to. But we're gonna get there quickly. So, and then I think I need another 2,400 before my channel can get monetized. 2,400 hours, and then I need about 330 more subscribers. But we gonna get there by, like, I promise you, probably by October we'll be there. But yeah, guys, so again, just to recap, y'all get these books. A Course in Miracles, you can get this rather inexpensively on Amazon in paperback. And as y'all, I be using mine. You can see these pages tore up. I use this. And sometimes I might take, so it has a lesson every single day that you have to meditate on. So for example, this one says, I am the light of this world. I don't know if y'all can see that. Sometimes it might take me 2 or 3 days to meditate and get one message. That's okay. There are 365 lessons. So ideally you do one per day, but take your time. Okay. We were on our own journey. And guys, if you learn to just keep on keeping on and take your time and not be on nobody else's time, but stay consistent, you will go way further than if you're like, oh, if I'm not rushing, or if I'm not getting things done in a certain time, then I'm just going to stop doing it. No, even if you only have 1 or 2 days a week to do this meditation, you're going to get further in life than if you don't do it at all, just because you can't do it every day. Same thing with learning Spanish. Even if you only have 1 or 2 days a week to practice Spanish, you are still going to come way further along than if you don't do it at all. Something is better than nothing. Don't let people bully you into feeling like if you ain't going full throttle, mash to the gas in everything you're doing in life, that you're not moving forward. I unplug by taking nature walks. I pick wild blackberries, deerberries, etc. What do you do with the berries? You know, like if you brought them berries to an older woman to make a pie, she probably love that. Okay, guys, I'm going to play some more of this video.
Australia, when I left, no one was sending voice notes ever. It's like, you got a voice note? Like, this is weird. Spam virus.
By the way, if you're interested in moving to Medellin, click the link in the description and download our free Medellin relocation guide.
Greetings on the phone is also something that, to me, maybe I'm a cold man, a ice cube cactus, as she's very fondly, I don't know if it's fondly or with lots of hate, you've named me the ice cube cactus, because apparently I don't have any warmth or feelings.
No.
Maybe it's just me, but when I call someone on the phone or when I text someone on the phone, I'm texting them, hey man, hope you're good, do you know blah blah blah. I'm getting straight to the point, because I don't have all day to waste on this shit.
True.
And even if it's someone I don't know, hey, hope you're good, I got your number from, getting straight to the point.
Okay.
But if any Colombian messages you, you know that this shit is going to be like 35 messages, half your day wasted, before they even get to the point. For example, imagine you.
I've heard that, and then I've kind of noticed that too a little bit. Like, now this is when like I was talking to, like, in Cartagena, when I was talking to like some liaisons for a couple things. Colombian people are really good at First of all, that's just how they are. They're very respectful, mannerable culture. I don't think you'll ever see a Colombian person just hit you up and just straight up ask you for something, because that's not what they do in their day to day. As far as when they greet you, they make sure to say, "Hi, how are you doing today?" Like, they're never just dry starting to talk to you or telling you what they need. So that's just the culture, right? But then you have another element where somebody might just hit you up just to get something from you, and then they go through all these formalities as well.
Colombian are texting me. You begin, please.
Hello, Akash. How are you?
Hi, Caro. I'm good. How are you?
How's everything going? How's your family?
My family is also good, I guess. How's your family?
It's good, it's good. I remember last time that I saw you that your back was hurting. How is that?
My back is feeling better. Thank you for asking. I remember last time I saw you, your back was feeling good. Is it still feeling good?
Yeah.
See what I mean? It's ongoing and going and going forever with this shit. Sometimes Colombians will go with this so much that they'll even forget what they're...
That has happened.
Because that, like, a lot of the times they're genuinely concerned, and honestly and truly, I'm impressed that they even remembered the problems. Or, I always ask people, like, when I talk to my friends, how are your kids doing, right? Because a lot of times people will just hit you up and not even want anything from you. And even if they do want something from you, it doesn't mean that's the only thing they want you for. They can genuinely be concerned about you as a person. And it's good that they know not to make people feel like it's just transactional or I'm just using you for something. And the people who are just using you for something, you will know, because they will only hit you up when they want something versus just hitting you up just to see how you doing. And that's just with anybody, not even just Colombian people. Oh, he's talking about what he does with the berries on his nature walks. He makes smoothies out the berries. I have frozen berries. My fruits are great. Okay, I'm planning to relocate to Costa Rica. They take their habitat serious. They take their rainforest seriously. I've heard really good things about Costa Rica and how they take care of the environment. I think that would be a great idea to move there.
Yeah, that's happened to you. They'll even forget what they're texting you for. So a mate of mine, Miguel, if you're watching this, I'm calling you out right here. He messages me, and we kind of do some business together as well. But he messages me, "Hey, AK, how's your trip in Santa Marta going?" So we go back and forth. I send him some photos. He's like, "I've been there, blah, blah, blah." And then we stop talking. So I actually had to tell him, "Hey, Miguel, are you just messaging to ask how my trip is, or do you want something?" And he's like, "Oh shit, I forgot. Can you give me this?"
Okay.
Horribly inefficient way to do things.
No.
Why? Please explain.
We have had this conversation about how Spanish is an emotional language.
Okay.
So first of all, like, we're very emotional people, and it's just like the nice way to ask for a favor is to first, like, ask how your life is going.
You gotta warm them up.
You gotta warm them up, and you gotta ask in every, like, aspect of your life, make sure the person is doing okay before you ask for the question.
Be ready for that.
Yeah, I mean,
if someone's asking you many,
I mean, that's actually a really good thing, because what if you're calling to ask somebody for something and then you talk to them and you find out they're not necessarily in the best space in life? What if you call to ask somebody for money and then you start talking to them and they tell you they're having financial problems? Well, you're going to know not to ask that person for no money. Okay. So it's also a way to be considerate of other people, checking to see if they're good before you just lay your needs on them. I'm assuming you are fluent in Spanish. Can you briefly explain how you accomplished Spanish fluency? Was it many years of learning? I wouldn't say that I'm fluent. If you were like a person that doesn't speak Spanish or speak very little Spanish, you would think that I am if you see me talking to a Spanish speaking person, because I don't take out Google Translate. That's because I know enough Spanish to where if they say something that I don't know, I can ask for clarification or context, and then I will understand the word. My issue sometimes is grammar. But again, I guess to some people, yes, that would be considered fluent because I don't take out Google Translate ever when I'm out and about talking to people. I have long, in-depth conversations. So I can kind of tell y'all my journey and my process with that. So I grew up first of all, the first 10 years of my life, I talked about this in my last slide, but I don't mind saying it again. My mom lied to me about who my dad was. So the first 10 years of my life, oh my God, not again. The first 10 years of my life, I was told that my dad was white and Mexican. Why is that important? Well, I live in a neighborhood that was black and Mexican, and the Mexican kids took me under their wing. So I actually started learning how to speak Spanish when I was 10. I had always been around the language. I started taking a formal Spanish class when I was 10. And then on top of that, my friends, when I would go to their house, they would break it down to me, like the conjugations. I took Spanish all throughout middle school, and I actually paid attention. Like, I wasn't one of those kids who was like, oh, I'm just trying to get the grade. Like, people would cheat on me with their Spanish work. I would pay attention, try to learn, try to get it correctly. I took Spanish in high school, same thing. Paid attention, try to learn, try to get it correctly. And at the same time, I liked Spanish music. College came. All 4 years of college, I took Spanish. Paid attention, try to learn, try to get it correct, and speak it properly. Not only that, in college, I used to work at a mall in San Marcos. This is like where Texas State is, close to Austin. And a lot of Mexican people used to cross the border to come to the mall just for a day. They buy up a whole bunch of stuff and then take it back to Mexico, but most of them could not speak any English. The weird thing about this particular area is a lot of the Mexicans that I went to college with were from like places like San Antonio, and their family have been in the United States for generations and generations. They're dang near white people. So a lot of my Mexican coworkers could not speak Spanish. They would come get me to talk to the Spanish people because I knew the Mexican people because I knew way more Spanish than them. So again, at work, I'm going to school, taking Spanish classes. I'm at work, speaking Spanish, right? And then just from then on, every job that I took, I had to speak Spanish. For example, my first year of teaching, 97% of my kids were Mexican, and a lot of them would come over brand new. I'd even have some South and Central Americans, and I had to prepare them for a state examination. And I have kids. I might have a class full of 20 kids, and 5 of them can't speak any English at all. And I wasn't one of those teachers who just ignored them or put them to the side. No, I'm going to come talk to you in Spanish, make sure that you understand. You can give responses in, for whatever you can't translate into English, give me your response in Spanish. Even last year, I had kids that I had to talk to, even though I moved to a predominantly black school. I had kids who did not speak English. And my non-English speaking kids passed their STAR test for U.S. history. But I had to talk to them in Spanish. I had history books for them in Spanish. So I've been speaking Spanish for a very long time. That's why by the time I moved here, I don't have to use Google Translate. Speak some Spanish. Let's see if I can decipher. What do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? It's so weird being put on the spot like that. What do you want me to say? Now I'm getting shy. My dad speaks fluent Spanish. Yes, I'm going to make you a moderator, skinny boy. I just have to learn how to do that. Let me tell you something. I get so shy speaking Spanish in front of people who don't speak, you know what? This is weird. I get shy speaking Spanish in front of black people. And that's not me trying to say anything bad about black people. It's just kind of weird. I don't know how to explain it, because then it's you know what it is? If you live in if you grew up in Dallas, anytime you try to be like different or learn something new, a lot of times people would talk about you. Versus like here, I don't get shy at all speaking Spanish. He said, don't be shy, speak that Spanish. Pero no sé qué decir. So you know what I'm talking about. Like, it's very, you have to act a certain way. Okay, let me go back to this video.
Many questions. You're wondering, what are they asking this for? They're probably going to ask you something, a favor or
But
a
I
question
think
at
it's
the end.
sweet because
But
it
it's
makes you like it's like I listen to you. I'm bringing up a topic from the past. I'm
Okay.
asking about your family that I know you talk about your family in the past. Something like that. It's
Okay.
just a nice way to.
I'll never get used to that. I like to get straight to the point and then sort it out. And then later, once I got, maybe if I want people to be interested. Like if you're interested, ask me a question.
Yeah.
Don't ask me a question just because you feel bad or whatever it is, you know.
Okay.
But anyway,
I
if that
can
makes
kinda
me ask you.
understand that because y'all, when people hit me up and I know they hit me up because they're trying to get something out of me, I be like, "What do you want? Get to the point." So I see both sides. Like when I want to ask somebody for something, before I even ask them for something, I'm like, "Have I made deposits into their life?" Let's start there. Have I been, before I had a need that presented itself? Have I shown this person that I'm invested in their life? Have I given enough time? Have I made myself available to help them? And then I go ask them for something, and I do it that way. I check on them first before I ask for something. Versus you got some people that ain't been doing nothing but making withdrawals from your life, taking and taking and taking from you, and steady hitting you up and saying all these niceties just to ask you something. You gotta. I said, pero no sé qué decir. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Pero no sé. I don't know. Okay? What decir? To say.
Cactus, then
Nice.
call me Mr. Cactus. What do we got next? Okay, this one is on the topic of driving. How many times have we been driving somewhere and I've had to tell the Uber driver, dude, can you please slow down? You are making me car sick. Every driver must drive like Vin Diesel.
Okay, so, and I put this on, like, if y'all follow me on Instagram, I put this on Instagram, like, okay, so I told y'all before, here in Colombia, you can take a motorcycle, and if you're just going by yourself, it's really cool because, again, it's affordable. It's like $1 one way and $1 back, sometimes $2, and, you know, you lead them, you know, your tip if you want to. So, anyway, I got on, mind you, if I ride with motos who are like my age, you know, the dudes who look like they're 28, 30, 31, they don't be doing all them wild maneuvers. Okay, now, one thing I will say is all of them be going a little bit in and out of cars. Is the SE 13. So, anyway, they be going in and out of cars, all that. But I was leaving the mall, and this young boy picked me up, right? And I told him, like, I put on my helmet, everything, and I told him, okay, estoy lista, like, I'm ready. That boy said, dale. But it's the way he said it. Dale, it's like, let's go. Like, you know, it's the way he said it. It was so sinister. And I should have known that he was finna be held. Like, I should have known that he was ready to rock and roll. When I tell you, this little boy was going through red lights, dang near going up on curves. He was swerving in and out between cars real fast, going in front of trucks. He was doing the most. And the whole time I'm scared. Like, I'm so scared, I can't even say nothing. I'm just praying, like, God, please, please. One time he did stop, and that's because this guy was on a tightrope. So we was at a red light, and the dude, he was, obviously like a poor dude, and he didn't want to beg for money. So he's like, I'm gonna take this bike, this little unicycle, and ride across this power line and juggle. So he did. And the young man was kind. He pulled out some money and gave it to the man. So only person he really stopped and gave some attention for was to get that man some money. But after that, he was on go. Okay. Whew. Yeah, they drive crazy over here. They drive real crazy. That's another reason why I will not ever live in an area over here where I need a car. No, and the public transportation system is so good over here, because I'm not finna relearn a whole new way of driving and trying to flow with their traffic and trying to drive with these motos going in and out. If you're used to that, you can probably do that, but I'm scared that I would hit one of them or not see one of them. Lord have mercy, my Spanish is wrong. Just keep working on it. Muchas gracias.
In Fast and the Furious. Why do they do this? Please explain.
I'm not a driver, so
Yeah.
I don't drive. I'm scared of driving because of that, so I don't have a really, I cannot defend you Colombians here. Sorry.
But do you have any idea why it's just like it's such a crazy, I understand if you're driving.
Even the Colombian girl says she don't want to drive, and she like, I cannot defend you Colombians. Yeah. It's real different. Yeah, I'm from Florida. They drive crazy in South Florida too. Yes, in Dallas. That's another reason why I had to leave. Y'all, driving in traffic drove me to leaving more than anything, because you got to understand, we've always kind of had that influx of Mexican people, but then we were getting this new wave of immigrants from like Venezuela and just all over the place. And then on top of that, we get in drivers from the West Coast. Then we get in drivers from the East Coast. We get in drivers from everywhere, because everybody's moving to Texas at one time. And then we all don't know how to drive together, or the driving style. It's just you done thrown a whole bunch of people together and expect them to know how to flow together in traffic. And it just was not giving, okay? It was giving you want to die every time you get in your car. Yes, it's terrible. It's terrible.
Driving yourself because you're like, whatever, I don't care. But when you're driving someone else, the whole purpose of the trip is to have a nice, comfortable ride. It's crazy how many of them don't care. They'll still be swerving through traffic and doing... The worst thing is when they're like, accelerator brake, accelerator brake.
Okay, so this is something that one of my coworkers told me, and she drives here, and she was driving me around, and she was like, here you need to be aggressive. Like, people need to know that you know where you're going and everything. So maybe that's like the logic.
Okay.
That is like to be able to survive in this city, you need to be an aggressive driver.
You know what? I could see that, because it's kind of like and I never understood those type of drivers, because I'm one of those, I'm driving for everybody. So I will slow down, or I don't mind you, giving you some way to get in front of me, if that means both of us can get to where we're going to be safe. But a lot of the times, I guess if you're used to driving with people who are only thinking about themselves, then eventually you might only think about yourself too. Thank you, Skinny Boy. So I don't know. Another thing that I noticed here that is very different than in Texas is, if people bump into you here, and I mean, they could bump into you hard just walking. It's not on purpose. A lot of times they don't even see you. They just trying to get to where you're going. They will not stop and tell you, excuse me. So you got to have, you got to know that, and you can't be the person trying to get into it with people because they bumped into you. Because especially if you're riding the train or the metro system, or you're walking down busy streets, they going to bump into you and keep going. And in the South, if somebody bump into you and they do not say, excuse me, it's going to be a problem. That's not normal behavior, but here it is. So I have to catch myself every single time from saying something and just understand it's not personal. I drive like nobody can drive but me.
So that's actually A technique.
Maybe it's a technique. I mean, that's how people drive here, and that's how
Okay.
you survive.
There we go.
Yeah.
We have an answer. The first clear answer of the day. Okay, so they drive like lunatics to survive. Survival of the fittest, basically.
Of the fittest.
Okay, so here's another thing that's very counterintuitive to that. All these things they do, swerving and fast driving and whatever, is kind of unsafe. Why do they not have seat belts in the back seat of the car? So basically 90% of cars you see will either have no seatbelt at all, they've taken the seatbelt out, or the seatbelt has been tucked behind like a part of the seat, so you can't even get it out. Like nobody wears seatbelts here. Like every time I try, because I'm like, at least if I tried and something happens, at least I tried. But
Yeah.
you're not even concerned about it. Colombians don't seem to care about the seatbelt.
I don't know. I remember like that being a thing in the States.
Seatbelt?
Seatbelt in the back.
Yeah.
I remember when I was growing up, if you sat in the back, well, when I sit in the back of my granddaddy car, you didn't put your seatbelt on. I will say I have ridden in an Uber where I was sitting in the front and the driver insisted that I put my seatbelt on. That was here. So I haven't paid attention to the whole seatbelt in the back because, to be honest, when I get in the Uber and I sit in the back, I never put my seatbelt on. I know. I need to do better. So I haven't even noticed whether or not they have seatbelts in the back.
But in Colombia, it has never been. Like when I was little, it was just if I sit right next to my dad, I had to use a seatbelt. But
Yeah.
if I was in the back, they didn't ask me to use it.
So what's the logic there?
I don't know what the logic is. I guess it's the front seat is more dangerous, and in the back is
All right, let's switch gears from driving. Did you get it?
Yeah.
You didn't laugh though.
It was not funny. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna edit that part out. But anyway, let's talk about the next one, which is the level of cleanliness that Colombians exhibit. This one's actually a good one, although I'll never get used to it. How many times you brush your teeth every day?
Like 6 times.
6 times. You don't think that's too much?
No.
So
You will see this. Like, I remember I was in the gym and there's like a little kitchen area where the gym staff go eat, and they will go brush their teeth after they eat. They'll carry their toothbrush and their toothpaste wherever they go. That's a really great thing. You ain't talking to a whole bunch of funky breath people. Like, I've talked to one Colombian and smelled their breath, but even then it wasn't bad. It wasn't like, dang, your breath stank. Like, it just had a little scent. That's it. That's an amazing thing, because I'd hate to be in a country and everybody I talk to musty and got stank breath. No, Colombian people, for the majority of them, smell good, smell like they bathe every day, breath together, even if they don't have on the most, expensive clothes, or they got some regular stuff on, they're neat, they're clean, they smell good.
was taught when I was growing up from ads and dentists, whatever, once at the start of the day and once before you go to bed, 2 times a day. I'm sure that's probably what you've been taught as well, wherever you're from.
I mean, it's at least 3 times.
Okay, but Colombians, they do it 6 plus times a day. Every time you leave the house, you brush your teeth.
Yes.
Please explain.
Well, I don't want to go with a bad breath to meet people. Like if I go out of my house.
And you will notice too, at the restaurants here, it is common custom for them to give you a breath mint after you leave. And I know we have restaurants in the United States that do this, but it's more of like a courtesy thing, and the vast majority don't do that. Here, they make sure when they give you that check or that bill, I don't care where you're at. If you're at a mom and pop, if you're at an expensive restaurant, if you're at a mid-quality restaurant, they gonna put that mint on that tray. They sure are. They gonna make sure you don't walk out of there funky breathed.
I want to be clean, presentable for...
Okay. You're not worried about scratching off your enamel or whatever it is?
No.
Okay.
I every time I go to the dentist, you know what they say to
What
me?
do they say?
They say, really good job, your teeth are very clean.
Okay. And is that 6 times normal for Colombia? Are you a
Yes.
little bit exaggerated?
No, I think
Okay.
it's normal.
The funniest thing is when you go to like a centro comercial, a mall, you'll see the people working there going with their toothbrushes and brushing. And you even said in a previous video that at the office, everyone's brushing their teeth, and you did the same thing when you went to the US. And at lunchtime, you got your brush and you went, and people thought you were weird.
No, not in front of people, because I didn't want them to think that I was weird, but yeah, I would do it.
Okay, so that's a very, very interesting one. And on the same topic, showering as well.
Yeah.
My friend, who I play tennis with probably 3 times a week, once he had a lesson at 9 a.m. at the tennis court. So 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock. And I was meeting him at 11. So he had to kill an hour in between. So rather than just wait at the court and maybe grab something to eat, have a drink, and then play, he went home, not because he had anything to do at home, like checking some emails or what. He went home to shower and come back and play with me again.
Okay.
And ask him why. He's like, oh, I don't like to be sweaty.
Good answer.
You don't
That's
think?
not weird.
Yeah, you feel like even when you get like, for example, if you ride the bus, y'all know this. If you get on that, if you're from Dallas, you know this. If you get on that dark bus or the train, it's gonna be a whole bunch of somebody's funky, don't smell good, musty. You get on the metro system here, and you could be crowded, packed in with a whole bunch of people, and you won't smell nothing for the most part. Am I saying it never happens? No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying for the amount of people that you're around here in Colombia, you should be smelling more funky people than what you do. And there'll be days that you'll go between even smelling somebody funky or musty or anything like that. They're very good with hygiene here. You got to get that to them.
So
He's going to play again.
okay,
Why shower when you're going to play again? He's going to be sweaty immediately in like 3 seconds. Why go home, waste the water?
have you
Lady Lux, now you know some of them people. You ever been on that dark bus? I done been on the dark bus. I ain't too proud. Okay, when I was in high school, middle school, I had to take that dark bus. Okay, I grew up in the hood, baby. So yes, I had to take that dark bus. Okay, and then even when I got grown and got my own apartment and was in college, I started off at community college in Dallas. I ain't had no car, so I had to take that dark bus. I had to get on that train, and it was a whole bunch of funky people, because you got to understand, the Dallas public transportation system is so bad, you only get on it if you have to. And I'm gonna say this, I can do a whole video about transportation here. The trains and the buses here are extremely clean. They will not allow you to get on them with any food or drinks at all. They're extremely clean. People get on there, they're clean. You would be surprised, like, we think these countries are so less developed than us, and there are a lot of things that they do better than us.
ever felt like sticky and like from sweat?
Yeah, all the time.
Well, we don't like to feel that way, so we shower.
Okay.
And let me give you another example, and this has happened with our maid.
Okay.
Sometimes in her barrio, there's no water in the morning, so she doesn't come to work. And that's a valid reason not to go to work, because you need to shower
Yeah.
and look nice for where you're going.
What do you think would happen if you texted your boss, hey boss, I can't come to work today, water's not working so I can't have a shower, see you tomorrow? Would that fly wherever you're from? Because in Colombia, that's evidently a valid reason not to come to work, right?
Yeah.
No one questions it?
Yeah, I said it's okay.
This is the general like consensus that I'm getting, like that a lot of time they give more like leeway here for you having stuff that comes up that affects like your, like if you tell them you're sick, that's fine, don't come to work. If you tell them you're, you know, like she said, the water got cut off, like they're more understanding here. Time, they be running on CP time for real here. Okay. So, very different than culture in the United States, where people feel like even though you might be going through something personal, you know, like imagine you showing up to work and you're showing up because you want to keep your job, but you funky as hell because your lights got cut off or something because you couldn't afford to pay your light bill, and you couldn't see anything, or I don't know, let's say your water not got cut off or something like that. Then you got to come to work, and then, yeah, you coming to work and doing the work, but people talking about you because you funky and looking crazy. And I think it's actually a really good thing that they're more considerate of their employees here. This is so educational. Usually we only hear the bad things, like how dangerous scopolamine is. LOL. Yeah, I mean, the reason why you only hearing about that is because this country, because prostitution is legal, which that's their choice. They've been doing that before men in America found out about prostitution. But because prostitution is legal, you have men flocking here, and they getting scoped, and they're making YouTubes about it, and they built entire YouTube channels off of promoting prostitution, when there's a whole nother subset of tourists who come here who don't even have to worry about getting scopolamine, because they not out going out every night, or women, we watch our drinks, or they're not dealing with drugs and prostitutes and stuff like that. Like, I'm not worried about getting scoped. I do what I've always done in the States. I watch my drinks. I watch everything, right? But that stuff you've been having to do. But there are really amazing things about this country that, this country is not just prostitution, Pablo Escobar, and poverty, Now, are those elements? Yeah, you got poverty in this country. Yeah, you have prostitution in this country. Yeah, you got scopolamine, but that's not the whole picture. And in the United States, we have poverty, we have drugs, we have trafficking rings underground. We got all that, right? So, same problems. I've been plant-based since 2012. It did wonders for my hygiene. That's really good. I could not do that because I need to eat meat. Like, I need that iron. My body start looking crazy if I don't eat meat. The passport bros aren't warning men about scopolamine. So you got a couple different brands of passport bros, right? You got those passport bros who they're out here and they've engaged in these activities, so then they're coming out to warn people about it. And then you've got those who are like, yeah, but I'm going to teach you the safe way to do it so that it'll lessen your chances of getting scopolamine. Which I feel like the longer you engage in that type of activity, it's only a matter of time before you get caught slipping.
See you tomorrow.
Let's get to the next one. So we just did level of cleanliness. This is a good one overall. I'm just taking the piss, but overall, it's quite a nice thing because Colombians always clean, smelling nice, looking good. I like it, right? So next one is approach to professionalism. This is one that I'm always shocked at, right?
Okay.
All the time. So on these Facebook groups, you'll see Colombian advertising. I'm a lawyer. I'm very professional. I've done this job. I can help expats with doing this and doing this and doing that. But their photos like this, like
Yes.
hanging out, and they look like a stripper. That does not inspire any confidence. You are not defending me in a court of law. Please explain.
I don't know. There's a saying that says, who doesn't show doesn't sell.
Here is the first and
Are they
only
lying,
guided
though?
virtual
So
makeup
she- so
try-on.
basically she
Smart
said-
camera analysis, face shape, skin tone, and texture.
Basically,
Okay.
she said the saying is, he who doesn't show doesn't sell. Y'all, I was like, dang, when I post on, why are certain videos on my TikTok and Instagram getting more, less views than others, even though this is a better quality video? And then I realized the videos that I get the most views on are the ones where I show my face and I might have like a little cleavage, even though it might not be as good as the other videos where the picture might be the beach or something like that. And a lot of the times people is not checking for you unless you have some sort of sex appeal. However, because all of this information is coming out about these passport bros getting drugged by, women posing as regular women, that can kind of prevent somebody from using your services if they are a foreigner, because they're going to automatically assume that you're a working girl, even though you might really be a lawyer or offer some type of service that has nothing to do with prostitution. So it's a double-edged sword. But people are very much influenced by sex appeal.
That's a Colombian saying?
I've heard it here.
Okay.
El que no muestra no vende.
So they've taken that literally.
So yeah, maybe
Okay.
that's that.
Would you hire a lawyer like that?
I think I would have to see like the resume or something.
I ain't looking at no resume. If
I
I
would
see
look at
that
a
photo,
resume.
straight to the trash. Would you hire a nanny like that?
Yeah, I mean, why not? Like the dressing is not telling me.
And they're a little bit less. This is a sexy society. I don't know how to explain it. Like, now, to be fair, like, you're not walking down the street and the women look like they on the blade. That's not what you're gonna see here. But you're more likely to see, you know, a little bit of a cleavage. The midriff showing. Like, that's the type of sex appeal they give on a day-to-day here. I wouldn't say they're indecent when they're walking down the street. I wouldn't say that at all. You don't walk down the street and be like, oh my God, why she got that on? It's kids around. No, it's like, it's sex appeal to a certain extent. Hey, DJ Batman, glad you were able to pull up.
It's not the dress, but like the way they're presenting themselves in the photos. Not professional, right?
Okay. You see,
Maybe nanny, maybe doctor. Any of these things?
Well, doctor, maybe not.
Does
Maybe
that
not.
seem appropriate?
No, it doesn't seem appropriate.
I
For
think that's
sure.
weird. That's something I'll never get used to in Colombia, in Medellin especially.
Okay.
Instead of just like take a normal LinkedIn photo, just take your face smiling. I've seen maids as well, advertising their services. I'm a maid, I'm going to clean your house, blah, blah, blah. But they're like selfie in the mirror
Yeah.
and like this in almost lingerie.
Okay.
And then like emojis in the photo, like love heart, cat, smiling face.
Probably no. I made like no, I wouldn't.
I would be like, this person is definitely stealing something. So level of professionalism is something I'll never get used to. And then let's talk about food and drink. So if you guys don't know, Colombia has some of the best, if not the best coffee in the whole world, yeah? It's exported all over the world and they make a lot of their money from exporting coffee. But the thing is, the locals don't know how to drink coffee. So there is no Americano style or latte and that. There is some, but the vast majority of locals just drink this thing called tinto. To explain what tinto is, let you imagine this, right? Get your Americano, pour about 1/10 of the Americano in here and fill the rest with hot water. That's a tinto. Tastes like hot water with essence of coffee. Basically shit, to be honest, even though they have the best coffee in the world
so
here.
I'm going to disagree
Okay.
with him on this.
Please explain.
I'm going to disagree with him on this. I love tinto. And it's very common. Like, for example, if you're in like the beauty shop or the nail shop and you're at, depending on where you're at, like if you're in like a local beauty shop or nail shop where everybody knows each other, like you'll be getting your nails done and then they'll be like, you know, I'm finna make some tinto. You want some? So you'll be sitting in the nail shop. They're going to bring you the tinto. But to me, the coffee here is so good that to me, it doesn't taste watered down. The flavor is still robust, in my opinion. And I actually really love that culture of, you know, it's 3 or 4 or 5 in the afternoon. We need a little bit of a pick-me-up. Everybody, you know, let's make sure everybody gets a tinto. So I like tinto. It's to the point where I'll even go ask for it at the coffee shop now. I really like it.
How many coffees do you drink a day? Americanos.
2.
How many coffees do you think my parents drink a day?
Probably more than 2.
Like 6.
Okay.
So
Why do they drink so many?
because it's a social thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
For us, like coffee is like a time to chat, connect with people. You're generally not drinking a tinto by your own. You're
Okay.
like, oh, in the office, you're drinking tinto with your coworkers. With your family, after lunch, you're drinking a tinto with your family. It's a social thing. Tinto is an excuse.
Okay, so they don't care about the taste.
I mean, we care about the taste. People are used to it because they drink many more than other, cultures in the world that only drink like 1 or 2 a day. We drink too much coffee. And imagine that being an espresso every time.
6 espressos a day.
6 espresso a day, everyone would be having a heart attack.
I'll accept that answer.
Now
you're gonna have to.
If you're drinking a lot of coffee every day, you want to try to like water it down so it doesn't have such a bad effect on your body. But I like it. I like that culture. I do like the conversations in the community that making these tintos randomly throughout the day builds. And again, you'll be at the nail shopper, just, getting your hair done, waiting. You might be up under the blow dryer. The lady bring you a tinto. Like, thank you guys. I got my lashes done here in Colombia.
You're going to have to convince me better with this next one, okay? So fruit is supposed to be a healthy snack. But Colombians, they get this beautiful healthy snack and they get the sugar and they're just like, there. Why would you take something beautiful and healthy and destroy it and make it horribly unhealthy? 2 examples of this, right? Colombians will eat fruits that are not supposed to be eaten, okay? And then they'll just add random things to it and be like, this is delicious. Makes no sense. One of those things is lulo. Lulo is a fruit. I believe it's typical to Colombia.
It is.
It is. I didn't know this. Do you want to tell the story?
No, tell it, please.
When I first came to Colombia, I heard there was a lot of fruits, delicious fruits. So I went on Google and I said, most typical fruits of Colombia, and a few of them came up. Lulo, some granadilla, some other things. So I went and
Granadilla, I actually have some. I'll show y'all too. I just went to the fruteria today. These are, can y'all see them? These are granadillas. And I heard they're really good and sweet. I haven't tried them yet. I want to try it. Here, matter of fact, while I'm on this live with y'all, I'm going to go rinse this off some. And then I'm going to try it right here with y'all here. Hold on, give me a second. Okay, I'm going to give y'all my honest opinion on Colombian granadillas. What is this? Okay, I think it's like an orange where you're supposed to take the shell off first. Nobody told me how to eat this. Nobody told me how to eat this. Do they grow soursop there? What's soursop? You're going to lose weight over there. Yeah, I actually have lost a lot of weight since I came here. Okay, this is a shell. This is a granadilla. It's hard, like the shell is kind of hard. It's not like as soft as an orange shell. Like, I don't know how to explain it. See, I didn't know how to eat, y'all. I'm finna eat something like, I've never eaten this. This looks weird. This looks so weird. But everybody swore up and down that these are so good and sweet. I don't think you can get this in the States. Has anybody ever seen a granadilla in the States? Okay. So now, this is once I've taken the skin off. I'm gonna open it up. Oh my God, y'all, this looks so weird. Y'all, look at the inside of this. It's like these black seeds. Okay, I'm gonna eat it though. I'm gonna try it. That is really good and sweet. Y'all, it don't look good. It doesn't look good. But it's sweet. Yeah, it looks like alien inside. It looks like something you would see in a movie. Ew, y'all, it don't look good. Y'all see that? Do I need to back it up? Can y'all see? I feel like my camera, I think you see it better right here. Ew. I'm eating it though. It's good. I'm gonna finish it. It's weird though. It's like good in a weird way. Y'all remember to hit that like button. Congee can increase restlessness, increase heart rates, anxiety, and coffee. Yeah, I'm trying to kick the habit. No, I'm lying. I keep telling myself I'm gonna stop drinking coffee, but then go drink it every day. So it's like passion fruit. Yeah, this is weird, but it's good.
I just bought like 5 of them. I'm like, oh, here we go. I'm going to have a fruit tasting party. I'm going to treat myself. So I started eating them, mango, yeah, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I got to this fruit called lulo, right? So I cut this up, open it. Oh, fuck, it looks a bit weird. And then I bite it. It is the most sour thing anyone could ever taste in their whole life. So I messaged Caro. I'm like, what the hell is this fruit, man? It says everywhere it's delicious fruit of Colombia. I almost died trying to eat this shit. What's the deal? And what did you say?
That's not supposed to be eaten. It's just supposed to be like made a drink, like
Okay.
a juice, lulo juice, and you put sugar on it because it's undrinkable if you don't put sugar on it.
Okay.
So some things are undrinkable without sugar.
Yeah. So they've taken a fruit that you should never eat or drink, and then they put a shitload of sugar in it, and they're like,
And
wow,
make it delicious.
delicious.
And make it the most
Makes
delicious fruit ever.
No sense to me. Another one that they do this with is a thing called mango biche, right? So many of you might be thinking, oh, mango, delicious, very sweet, tropical fruit. This is not how Colombians eat it. Basically, Colombians don't really like the sweet mango. What they like is this green mango, which is
Delicious.
unripened and hard, right? It's more consistency of a potato than a mango. So they get this green unripened mango, which basically is a bit sour, but basically doesn't really taste like much. And then they'll get this, cut it.
I'm glad he's explaining this because I've seen. Are my headphones plugged in? I've seen. Can y'all hear me? I've seen these shops that say that they sell mama biche. I think that's what he said. I've seen the words before. And now I know not to stop there if what he's saying is about to sound gross.
Strips, and then they'll put salt and
Lemon.
pepper and lemon, and they'll eat it. And that's apparently delicious,
Oh,
according
It's
to you.
delicious.
According to you, it's
It's
good.
delicious.
Do you think that's an acceptable way of eating fruit?
It
See?
doesn't look bad.
You're eating it like a savory dish.
What was that horrible thing that you made me taste? Australian?
Vegemite.
Okay. Why would you even have that in your cuisine?
I don't know actually.
Okay.
But that's not meant to be healthy. Fruit is meant to be healthy.
Well, what is unhealthy about mango iche? We just put salt.
Salt
pepper.
is pretty unhealthy. I don't think we're ever going to see eye to eye on this. So let's keep moving before we start getting into argument. Let's get to the next one, which is we've been joking a lot in this video.
Okay.
It's time to get serious. One thing that I find very interesting about Colombians is their attitude to crime. They're very accepting when crime happens to them and not so willing to blame everyone else and blame outside forces. For example, my friend, the same one I play tennis with actually.
Yeah.
This day he should have gone home to have a shower because it would have saved him a lot of money. But he was in Belén, which is one of the neighborhoods here.
Yeah.
Pretty safe place. But he was walking and he was standing at a stoplight texting like this.
Yeah.
You already know what's going to
Yeah.
happen. Standing at a stoplight in a safe place, but someone came by in a motorbike and just snatched his phone, iPhone 14, gone, right? And then he didn't text me for I was supposed to meet him for tennis. Didn't show up. The next day, he finally texted me. He's like, my phone got stolen. I'm like, oh, sorry, man, you okay? Well, like trying to be sympathetic. And he said, no, it was my fault. I was standing at the stop sign texting and someone took it, but I shouldn't have been doing that.
This is true, and this was a concept that was very important for me to get into my head before I came here, because y'all got to understand, In the United States, we keep all of our important banking information on our phone. Most of us have iPhones. We have Apple Wallet. There's a lot of valuable information on our phones. And then on top of that, most of us have expensive iPhones, which are eye-catching. So I had to learn about this concept before I got here. Hold on. Called No Dar Papaya. Basically, don't give a reason. That is another reason why I don't be walking outside just all got my earphones on with my cell phone. I want people to see me with my head on a swivel, and I don't want to give a reason for somebody to come snatch up my cell phone or something like that, because if somebody take that phone, I ain't getting it back. The police ain't gonna have nothing for me. Okay. And then on top of that, they have people who know how to hack and do all that kind of stuff here. Again, people be thinking in these countries, these people don't know what's going on or they're not tech savvy. Yes, they are. Okay. So I can't afford, I'm over here by myself. Yeah, my mom could send me some money or something like that. But even then, then you had to get Western Union because you ain't just too much. I don't want to go through that. How is the school system down here? So basically, this country is really newly developed in education. I was talking to somebody, he's a costeño, meaning he was from the coast, and he was saying not even 20 years ago, most people in the poor, y'all, I'm sorry, hold on. I got a seed in my throat. He was saying most people didn't have access to education. Now there's more resources and access to public education. From what I've heard, the public education system is not all that good here, but it is more strenuous, because y'all would be surprised to be a teacher in the United States. Public education system is terrible. So from what I'm told, they do more reading and writing in their public education system. The average Colombians that goes to public education here can probably read better than the average kid in Gen Alpha right now, and I'm not even over exaggerating. But if you have a little bit more money, you can go to a private school where they teach English. And if your parents have a lot of money here, they can afford to send you to somewhere like the Columbus school, where they're going to pay, and it's the best private school. They might pay like $1,000 a month, which is way less than what you would pay to go to the best private school in the United States. And you get a U.S. diploma, and they teach you English. And by the time you hit a certain age, the majority of your lessons are taught in English. So if you have money here, you can get top quality education. Yeah, I think that that's awesome. So they're making a lot of improvements. Again, their education system, public education system, is a lot newer than ours, and they're making strides forward. They're trying to provide opportunities to kids that are in rural areas. I mean, I feel like it'll be a different story 20 or 30 years down the line. Another thing I want to point out, because I remember I did this video talking about the racism that exists here in Colombia, which the vast majority of the people that are, the vast majority of African Americans here in Colombia are in that lower, that 30% of people who are in poverty. With that said, they have an African American black female president. And when I say black, I'll show you a picture of her. So I'm like, she's unambiguously black. Let me see something. Her name is Francia Marquez. Okay, this is her. So as you can see, she is black. Like she's not a mulatto Colombian. Um she's not a mixed race Colombian. Okay. She have kinky hair. She is Afro Colombian to the fullest extent. Now, there is a lot to be said about racial dynamics here in Colombia, but for us to be so much further ahead of them, even we have not accomplished getting a truly unambiguous black person as the president or vice president. Obama was biracial. He was, I mean, and again, I don't mean to make different, but it's true. Like, we haven't gotten a fully black person in office, but Colombia, which is we're supposed to be so far ahead of, has been able to get a fully black female vice president, unambiguously black. This ain't no Kamala Harris where there's so many questions. Like, it's this ain't that. Okay. What is the racial ethnic makeup of Medellin? Do you blend in with the native population? I can pull it up. Visually, right? Visually, you're gonna see more mestizos, so people who look like they're mixed with Spanish and Native American. Then you'll see people that look like me as well, who have look like they got the Afro-Colombian thing with the curly hair. I'm not gonna say here. I hate to say it because we don't say this in the States. Mulattoes. So yeah, you will see mulattoes. Do I blend in? Yes. I probably would blend in even more if I was somewhere along the coast in Cartagena. But there are a lot of people that look like me, so I don't stand out. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, I'm not. I don't feel like I'm targeted or I'm like standing out because of my race. There are a lot of people here who are my skin color or darker. But you don't see too many Francia Marquezes. You don't see too many people that look like her. Like, they're a very small minority. Most people might be a little bit darker than me and lighter. Okay. Or you might see somebody who has straighter hair than me, but they're darker than me, right? Yes, yeah. So, hey, they're doing it in other places around the world. They're doing it in other places around the world. And I always want to, even though, I'm a biracial person, like, I always want to make sure that we're keeping it real. Like, I love black people, like, we all family. Me being biracial doesn't take away from the fact that at the end of the day, I have black family members. We're all family, but I mean, I'm just gonna call it like I see it. Like, in the US, they done just enough to try to placate, but they have not gone as far as to put a fully black, unambiguous black person in office. Even Francia Marquez, she is of Afro-Colombian descent, meaning her family have been in Colombia for generations and generations. She's of that Afro-Colombian culture. Okay, Barack Obama, not so much. Kamala Harris, not so much. It's not that they don't have African ancestry or DNA, but they weren't coming with the culture. In the deep south, like Arkansas, we still say mulatto. Technically, biracial isn't real. You're like Melangian. What is that? Melangian? What is that? Explain that to me. Okay, I'm gonna switch back to the video.
That, and it is what it is. Very accepting. He's taken the onus upon himself, said that was my fault, that's okay. That's something that I've seen Colombians say and do, and it's evident in the like no dar papaya, which means like don't be an easy target. It's all about like protecting yourself. Whereas in other cultures, it's like you can do the most stupid things of all time, and then you just blame someone else. Nothing is ever my fault. Would you agree, first of all?
Yeah, I do agree. I think it has to do with the fact that for many years, like the authorities have not like been very responsive when there's some sort of crime. So we kind of like, okay, if they're not gonna do anything, we start changing our own like ways of going through the city. It's more like we prefer to change than to actually go to an authority and like rely on.
I think this is a really good mentality that Colombians have. If you know the authorities are not going to do anything, then you need to change your ways. If you know other people are not going to change, you know the police not going to do nothing about certain things, and you already know that thieves ain't gonna stop robbing. You already know people that drug folks ain't gonna stop drugging. So you make sure that you're keeping yourself safe and secure. Another thing I've noticed about buildings here and rooms and stuff like that, they don't play about having really strong and secure locks, doors. You got to keep your key on you because these doors lock in behind you. Like, they have top quality locks. They don't play about security here. So yes, they are very much a culture of trying to make sure that they are their own first line of defense. They also have this thing called street justice, which I've seen it several times. So, well, a couple times. When I was in Cartagena, Colombia, I was in like the walled city where people go, hang out and party, or they'll go during the day. Twice I seen a man get beat down by a mob because he went, stole something, snatched something off somebody. When the Colombian people see you thieving, they gonna run everybody gonna run after you, and they gonna beat your ass right then and there, and ain't nobody gonna do nothing about it. So you better make sure if you snatch something or you thieve from somebody and you're walking on foot, you better be able to run and run real fast, because once they catch your ass, you getting beat like a Hebrew slave. Melon Dungeon is a mix of American Indian, Caucasian, and African. Okay, thank you for explaining that to me. Most white people here are not even white. They ate Melon Dungeon as well. Pretty sure my grandma was Melon Dungeon too, because she looked like you with dark carbon hair but very pale white skin. She didn't look white for real. Okay, I'm gonna have to look that up. Thank you for giving me that information.
On them.
Okay.
It's more about like the things that you do to keep yourself protected and safe.
You guys have changed your mentality to protect yourselves rather than relying on external forces to protect you.
So if something happens to you, kind of is your fault. Not in all the cases, of course. We're not talking about like raping or something like that.
Yeah.
But if you're like with your phone in a place that you know is dangerous, people are gonna say like, okay, you were giving papaya, you were not supposed to be doing that, you should have known better. I know it sounds very bad, but it's the reality. It is what it is. If you go to the authorities, they're probably not gonna do anything, so you have to take responsibility of your own actions.
So those are my things that I thought.
That's true, guys. That is very true. Auburn red hair. LOL. My bad spell check. No, you're good. That's true, guys. But guys, I'm gonna go ahead because I've been on here for almost 2 hours and 30 minutes now. I hope y'all enjoyed the live. Do I need to start these later? Because I notice everybody kind of starts coming in and out, and then the crowd gets bigger and I get more interaction when it's closer to like 10 o'clock. So I'm thinking on the weekend I'm just going to start these later, because I think that's, by 10, y'all are in bed. Y'all got y'all bonnets on. Y'all rubbing y'all feet together, and y'all just want to watch something before y'all go to bed. So I think I'm definitely going to start these later. But anyways, guys, thank y'all for everybody that showed up. Thank you for my people that always, consistently, even if it's not every single time, pull up. And I really appreciate the dialogue and the discourse. Hopefully I said something today that, yes, that's what it is, Lady Lux. You like, okay, baby, I got to make sure I done bathe, put this bonnet on, lit my incense before I pull up. Okay, I got you. But yeah, so I'm going to go live tomorrow. I'm going to wait until later to go live. If you have a suggestion on anything you think I should talk about tomorrow, please leave it in the comment section on the, when I end the live. If not, I'm gonna find something to like research and put together and talk to y'all about. Hopefully you got some questions answered or you got some new insight. And I saw where you said, Skinny Boy, that you're more interested in Guyana. I think I'm gonna look into that and see what's going on over. Was it Guyana, or let me see what you said. I'm gonna look into that myself. But guys, anywhere you want to go, don't feel like it's impossible to make it happen. There are people who have done it before you. So a lot of the times the information and the infrastructure for you to be able to relocate is already out there. I did it. I don't come from a rich family. I was a teacher in Texas. I'm a single mother. And when I decided I could no longer stay where I was at, I did everything in my power to get the F on. So you can too. That's all I had to say, guys. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all night. And if you're going out tonight, stay safe. Till next time.